You're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on TequilaAficionado.com, also part of Tequila Aficionado Media. I'm Alex Perez in San Diego, California.
That's easy for you to say. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio, and Alex, we have been tasting the new iteration, the new generation of Cazadores tequila.
Cazadores, for the new generation, that should be.
Yeah, tequila for a new
Cazadores
generation.
for the new generation.
This is not the old deer; it's the young buck.
It's the young buck.
It's the young buck. The buck stops
The buck
here,
stops with this buck.
the buck stops here.
So we tried the Blanco.
Yes.
We beat it up. Sorry. And now we're doing the Reposado.
You know, if you were looking for that old-fashioned Arandas flavor of the old-fashioned, you know, for those of you who have been to Arandas and you've been to tequila, and you've had the old versions of Cazadores, you remember that it was hearty, it was in your face, it was really earthy. You know, it was
old school.
Yeah, it was old school. And Alex and I were talking off camera,
old school.
And I said 2 years ago we tasted Cabrito on our Sipping Off the Cuff program for the first time, which is also an old school tequila. That Cabrito and Cazadores almost had identical labels. You remember that, Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and an animal, you could easily have confused it. I'm surprised they were allowed to even have the same type of label.
I imagine that probably there was some feuding going on.
Sure.
You know, because if you know anything about Cabrito, the particular distillery it comes from has the largest storage barrel warehouse in tequila. It is known to have that. It's like it's aisles and aisles of barrels. Okay. Wow. So anyway,
it's like
the flavor profile.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Like when they, when they roll in the ark, you know, and they just put it up in a corner somewhere, and you have piles and piles of boxes.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know, it was interesting because their flavor profiles, as I recall, were very similar, and I was this new iteration is not anything. Oh wow, it's not anything what you might remember Cazadores to be.
Yeah.
If you
all right, so this is the Reposado. It's really light.
Do we know?
Pale.
Do we know how many months in barrels do they have?
You know, they say 2 to 11 months, which is really vague.
Well, I mean, look how light it is. See, it's
not, so I guess
it's like a straw color. You know?
Yeah, so I guess they're tasting it until they get what they want, and obviously, you know, every barrel is different.
Right. And these are obviously used barrels.
Yeah, actually, they say they're virgin American oak barrels.
Really?
So it would be different if they were charred, where you would get something different, you know, per barrel.
So these are virgin American oak.
These are virgins. Sacrificed to the Cazadores.
By the way, Cazadores is Spanish for hunters.
Hunters of the bucks.
If you watched our Blanco review, we gave you probably more information than you really needed. It was very nice that their new PR company, Nike Communications, reached out to us, and they said, you know, we want to have tequila, we want to have Cazadores on Sipping Off the Cuff, and we said sure, you know. They sent us these nice liter bottles with the really slick deer on the front, you know, beautiful bottles that
the relief.
Yeah, it's 100% agave. The information we got from Nike was that they still use the Mozart method, which Alex and I were aware that they were using it in the old iteration prior to Bacardi buying the brand, and that they use proprietary yeast. So I know that Alex on the Blanco, I think that the agave aroma was a little bit over the top, and then once it opened up, it was kind of sweet, like a candy sweetness.
Yeah, it was sweet, right on top.
Yeah.
Using these glasses, and you position your nose in the different areas over the glass, you're going to start getting nuances that you might not get at first by just, you know, putting your nose right in the glass. So you really got to play with it.
Alex is using a Glencairn. I'm using the traditional Riedel for this one.
I'm still getting the citrusy notes.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe even some fruity, tropical notes, and
for a virgin barrel, Alex, I'm not getting a whole lot of wood notes though.
no, just a little light vanilla. I don't really get any smokiness or nuttiness. Again, like you said, they're virgin barrels, so you wouldn't get that characteristics of a barrel that's been what do you call it? Not burned, but
Charred.
Charred. There you go.
The legs and tears, they're streaming down like a healthy, healthy beads, healthy tears, and they kind of cling to the glass.
Like
the Blanco did that, and it reminded me of some añejos that we've had on the show, Alex. But it's not uncommon that we get Blancos that will sheet and cling to the glass.
This one seems a little bit hotter to me, for some reason.
I like this better.
Yeah.
I like this
I get
better.
I get the wood notes.
Yeah, I do now on the retro nasal. Yeah. And you're right, citrusy. It's got a nice citrusy punch to it. And some pepper, right? Is that what you were meaning by it was hot? It was like
I think it's the peppery. Yeah, this one I don't get the overpowering roasted agave. It's almost like the wood maybe is muting it a little bit or masking it.
Yeah, and really that's not a bad thing, because as we revealed to you folks, Cazadores is going to be launching a huge publicity campaign for the summer, huge PR campaign. The brand representative Manny Hinojosa, some of you may know him from Facebook, or you might be friended up with him. We've known each other for a while. He was nice enough to give us the official party line. We know that Cazadores has been using a diffuser since the early 2000s, which had, that was the last really major agave shortage that had happened, and really it was about the same time that Herradura started using a diffuser. They actually admitted that they were using one in 2001. Alex, I think when I got the explanation from Manny, he said that there was a soft extraction. He calls it. They called it. Let me see. A soft extraction.
Soft extraction. So they're pressing like they do grapes, then.
Well, they don't explain to me what a soft extraction is. What I'm going to assume, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to assume that they are extracting the juices after baking. All right, like Herradura now has admitted that they are only using the diffuser after baking.
Oh, okay, I get you. So
okay.
Bake first, then put in the diffuser.
Right, and so I think that this could be what they mean by a soft extraction.
Bake, shred, diffuser.
Right. Well, bake, diffuser, shredding.
Oh, diffuser. Yeah.
Yeah, because the diffuser does everything.
That's right.
It does everything but bake. I mean, the initial use of a diffuser is you shred it with using hot water or chemicals, and then you take the mush and you bake that in an autoclave, and then you ferment it. But now Herradura, I think in the last 5 years or so, has claimed that they use it after baking. So they shred it completely to extract all the juices. According to Manny's email, the system uses up to 98%. It extracts up to 98% of the sugar content. Higher alcohol production and sustainability of the plant. That's what they're saying. The diffuser alone is the most efficient way to produce and extract rich sugars from the agave without jeopardizing the flavor profile of the tequila.
Mm.
I disagree. But I will say, Alex, that the Reposado version I like way better than the Blanco.
I do too. I do too.
Um, you know,
Well, it's a different. Obviously, it's a different flavor profile.
yeah,
It's a good tasting reposado.
I like it. Now, right on the top, right here, now that it's opened up a little bit, you're still going to get that sweet nose. You know, that overly sweet nose that you may or may not confuse with barrel notes. I don't know if you're getting it yet on the Glencairn. I'm getting it right here. I mean, right here on my Riedel, and most often I've got to really dig my nose into a Riedel glass. So,
Yeah, I get it. And you know what, too, Mike? I actually got the sweetness on the palate.
oh, you did? Oh, okay. I haven't.
Getting the sweetness in the palate. I don't know if that's necessarily from the wood. Could be from the charring of the wood. I don't know if they char.
Well, if they're virgin,
They're virgin barrels.
they may or may not. See,
Well,
that's
virgin meat, they've never had another spirit in it.
right. That doesn't mean it. I think they all have to be charred to get something out of it, including a little bit of color.
Right.
If you're familiar with how what happens in a diffused tequila, at the end of distillation is when they rectify it, and rectifying means that if it lacks any characteristics, that's when it is allowed to be not adulterated. You're allowed one enhanced, like you know, like A-Rod was enhanced. Okay, you know, it's agave PEDs, agave PEDs, not Pez, although sometimes they smell like Pez. Alex, I gotta say, I like the Repo better than I like the Blanco.
I do. I agree. And at this angle, I'm getting some vanilla too.
The tough thing is it's you know with a diffused tequila, it's hard to know whether the notes you're getting are the enhancements or from the barrel. It's really
Right.
hard to
That's
tell. You know, and unless you've had enough of these, you probably wouldn't even care. You know,
right.
um,
Well, that's yeah. That's key because obviously, you know, the barrel's imparting the natural flavors from the wood, which is very unique, which is really an art form. And the autoclave is pretty, pretty controlled because you're probably putting it through one of those graph machines where you're trying to get a certain flavor profile and it doesn't have it. Well, let's put a few ounces of this, a few ounces of that, and there you go.
Yeah.
You get your recipe.
And it's allowed. I mean, it is within the normas. It is 100% agave tequila. You can't argue with any of that. Obviously, Bacardi and Cazadores are now worldwide brands, so anywhere you go, you know they're fighting with the big guys. They're fighting with the Cuervos, and they're fighting.
They've got
with
to
the
sustain their production.
Yeah, and that's really the bottom line. And with the current agave shortage that we're in now, you may see a lot more of these brands pop up that are manufactured this way. You know, I say a trained palate, but if you've had enough of these, you kind of already can pick it out. You know that there's something off. You may not know what it is, but I guarantee you, if you have an old bottle of Cazadores hanging around and you try the old version versus the new version, you're gonna it's really night and day.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is what it is. It's
is
cocktail. It's great for cocktails. I mean, you can still make a real decent Paloma with this thing. It's got a great finish. You know, the finish is nice.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I like this version better than I like the Blanco.
I do too.
So
That's our take.
that's our take. You know, that's Cazadores. We do appreciate Nike Communications for sending us
Yeah.
the liter bottles. The pricing you can't beat with a stick. I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
think it's $22 for the Repo
yeah, and
for
that's
750 bottle.
and this
Great
is a
price.
liter, so I'm assuming that these may be what the campaign will be promoting the most, because there's a big summer campaign. So watch for that. That should be kind of fun. You can be able to see Manny on the brand representative will be involved in a lot of the videos that Cazadores is putting on. So,
Very cool.
hey,
let us know what you think. Bring
yes.
out your old bottle of Cazadores, or you know what? Go hunt for one. I love when I find some old stuff. I try to pick it up whenever I can.
Geez,
And you get an older liquor store, or you go to some other state, and you happen to find something that sitting on the bottom shelf or in the back. And I always like to play dumb and say, "This hasn't moved for some time. Let me take it off your hands."
Yeah.
I
Blow the dust off, pretend like you're cleaning it with your shirt.
Yeah. I think this thing's gone bad.
Yeah.
I'll take it from you anyway.
What's that stuff, man? I'll have to use a cheesecloth. Anyway, tell us what you think. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe down below. Press that red button. You will be happy forever. And continue watching us here on Sipping Off the Cuff. Again, thanks to Cazadores for sending that out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And for the official party line, I like that. I like that they're up front with it.
Sure.
It is what it is. And
It's truth in consumers.
So
very good.
Alex,
thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Keep sipping, and let us know what you think. And as always, thanks for sip wisely.
Sip wisely.
I already said thanks for watching. Now go sip wisely.